In the cold silence of an underground Martian facility, lights flickered on for the first time in 3,000 years. Rows of tall cryopods stood in perfect formation, covered in a thin layer of frost. Dust floated in the air, undisturbed for millennia. A deep hum filled the chamber as the main power core activated. One pod opened with a slow hiss. Steam spilled onto the floor, revealing the figure of a woman inside. Her eyes blinked open. She gasped as air rushed into her lungs for the first time in centuries. She fell forward but was caught by the soft mechanical arms of a caretaker drone. Vital signs stable, the drone announced. Captain Alara Voss, reanimation successful. Alara coughed, her muscles weak. Her vision slowly cleared, revealing a strange, sterile room. She forced herself to stand, gripping a support rail. Her body ached, but her mind was sharp. Years of military training pushed her through the pain. "Status report," she said, her voice hoarse. A glowing orb descended from the ceiling. The AI interface, known as Orin, hovered before her. "Captain Voss, welcome back. You have been in cryo-sleep for 3,012 years. Earth is gone. You are the last commanding officer of the human species." Alara stared at the orb in stunned silence. The words didn't make sense. "Gone? What do you mean, gone?" Orin projected a holographic recording. It showed Earth as it once was, blue oceans, green continents, cities teeming with life. Then it changed. The planet burned. Explosions erupted across the surface. A massive energy beam from space tore the world apart. "This footage was captured by our satellites," Orin explained. "The Galactic Council authorized the destruction of Earth under the justification of preserving peace. Humanity had resisted Council mandates and was labeled a danger to galactic stability." Alara clenched her fists. "They erased us." "You are not alone," Orin added. 94 human cryopods remain functional. Your crew, selected for survival and leadership. I can begin revival protocols. "Do it," Alara said. Eyes hard. "Wake them all. We're taking back what's ours." One by one, the cryopods opened. Men and women stumbled out, confused and scared. Scientists, soldiers, engineers, each one handpicked to ensure humanity could start again. Alara moved among them, helping them stand, answering questions, calming fears. She gathered them in the central chamber as Orin displayed a map of the galaxy. Red marks showed planets under Council control. Only a few free systems remained, small, quiet, and scattered. "We're not safe here," Alara said. "The Council may think we're gone, but if they discover us, they'll finish the job. We have one advantage: they don't know we survived." A mechanic named Jace stepped forward. "What do we do? We're just a few people on a dead planet." Alara's expression was calm, but fire burned in her eyes. "We do what humans have always done. We adapt, we survive, we fight when we have to. And now we have to." Orin led them to a hidden bay deep underground. Inside sat a sleek black starship. Its design was unfamiliar to most of the crew, built with technology developed in secret just before the fall. "This is the Vengeance," Orin said, "Earth's last warship, designed to reach any system in the galaxy undetected. Weapons online, cloaking enabled. It has been waiting for you." The crew stared at the ship in awe. For the first time since awakening, they felt a spark of hope. Alara turned to them. "This is no longer just about survival. We will find the truth. We will show the galaxy what the Council did, and we will make them answer for it." The crew nodded, silent and determined. As they boarded the ship, Orin gave a final warning. "The galaxy has changed. The Council controls everything. Your path will be dangerous." Alara glanced back once at the Martian sky, then stepped into the ship. Then it's time they remembered what humans can do. The engines of the Vengeance roared to life. The hangar doors groaned open, revealing the vast emptiness of space above Mars. For the first time in 3,000 years, the last human warship prepared to leave the Red Planet. Inside the Vengeance, Captain Alara Voss stood at the central command console, her eyes scanning the controls. The ship's interior was sleek and efficient. Everything built with one purpose: survival through stealth and power. Black alloy walls, low lighting, and high-efficiency tech gave the ship a ghost-like presence. Her crew was still getting used to their surroundings. Jace, the engineer, was busy inspecting the engine core. Lieutenant Ryan, a skilled pilot and her second-in-command, ran a systems check from the cockpit. Medical officer Dr. Talia Quinn worked to stabilize the newly awakened crew members in the medbay. Each of them was still adjusting to the truth. Earth was gone. They were all that was left. Elara placed her hand on the console. Orin, status report. The AI's voice echoed calmly through the bridge. All systems operational, weapons calibrated, cloaking device functioning at 97% efficiency. Navigational data uploaded, awaiting destination input. Good, Elara replied. She turned to her crew, who had gathered on the bridge. Listen up, we're heading to Varellan space, the edge of Council territory. I want eyes and ears open. We don't engage unless absolutely necessary. Ryan crossed his arms. You really think we can get close to the Council's core systems without being detected? We have to try, Elara said. We need evidence, proof of what they did. We can't rebuild anything until we expose the truth. Jace scratched his beard. And what if they're still watching Mars? Launching from here might light up their sensors. Orin interrupted. I've rewrote all power signatures through the ancient Martian mining grid. To external scans, this base still looks inactive. Departure is safe, if done now. Elara nodded. Then let's move. The crew took their stations. Ryan sat at the pilot controls and eased the ship upward. The engines purred, smooth and nearly silent. As they rose through Mars's thin atmosphere, the rusty surface faded below. Space stretched before them, endless, cold and full of danger. Engage cloaking, Elara ordered. The ship shimmered and vanished from sight. Even radar and thermal scans would see nothing. Outside the solar system, the galaxy was not as the humans remembered. Orin displayed a star map on the main screen. Dozens of red-marked planets blinked, systems fully under Council rule. Blue dots showed neutral zones. Only a few green lights remained, independent systems where the Council's grip had not reached. This isn't just about us anymore, Elara said, staring at the map. They're controlling everyone. History, freedom, truth. If we're going to make a difference, we need allies. She pointed to a blinking dot on the far edge of the map. Tessara, she said. A trade hub run by the Etren. They never joined the Council. If anyone remembers Earth, it's them. Ryan adjusted the course, setting coordinates for Tessara. ETA 2 days at warp speed. 2 days passed slowly. Inside the ship, the crew trained, studied, and recovered. Some watched old recordings of Earth, cities full of light, families laughing, oceans and forests untouched by war. Others kept busy repairing equipment or reviewing alien languages. Grief hung over them like a fog, but Elara refused to let it grow. On the second night, she gathered the senior crew in the strategy room. We need to be clear on something, she began. Some of you might want revenge. I get it. But this mission is bigger than that. We're not just survivors, we're witnesses. If we strike without proof, we're just confirming the Council's lies. We need to be smarter. Dr. Quinn spoke up. And if they come after us again, then we make sure they regret it, Elara said, voice firm. But we do it the right way. Jace nodded. I'm with you, Captain. Let's give them the truth first, then the consequences. The crew agreed. Hours later, the Vengeance dropped out of warp above Tessara. The planet shimmered like a jewel in space, covered in forests and glowing cities built into mountain cliffs. Dozens of ships floated in orbit, and alien languages buzzed through the comms. Entering neutral space, Orin confirmed. No Council vessels detected. Elara stood tall. Then let's make contact. They had left Mars behind. Ahead lay a galaxy under control, a truth buried in silence, and the first step toward reclaiming a future stolen from them. Tessara was unlike anything the humans had seen before. Massive trees reached into the sky, taller than Earth's tallest towers, their leaves glowing in gentle shades of blue and violet. Between them, cities hung from cliff faces like crystals, their buildings carved directly into the rock. Waterfalls streamed down beside walkways of light. Airships drifted smoothly through the misty air. The planet felt peaceful, but Ilara knew better than to trust appearances. Inside the Vengeance, the crew watched the surface from orbit. "This place is beautiful," Dr. Talia Quinn whispered. "Let's hope it's friendly too," Ilara said. "Orin, open a channel to Tessaran Trade Command." A moment later, a screen flickered on. A tall, silver-skinned alien with soft facial ridges appeared. His eyes were a deep green, calm and curious. "This is Council Free Trade Command Tessara. Identify your vessel." Ilara stepped forward. "This is Captain Ilara Voss of Earth. We seek entry for peaceful purposes. We have no hostile intent." There was a long silence. The alien leaned closer to the screen. "Earth, that world was destroyed long ago." "We know," Ilara said. "That's why we're here." The alien stared at her for several seconds. Then he spoke. "Docking approved. Follow the beacon, and welcome humans." The docking platform sat high in the mountains. Mist rolled over the metal floor as the Vengeance settled into place. The crew stepped out wearing light gear and scanning devices. All eyes were on them as they descended the ramp. Dozens of alien traders and workers moved about the docks. Some stared in disbelief. A few backed away in fear. Others whispered in their native tongues. Ilara kept her head high. Waiting for them was the same alien from the screen. Tall, graceful, dressed in dark robes. He stepped forward and bowed slightly. "I am Ilaran, speaker for Tessara," he said. "We believed your people extinct." Ilara returned the gesture. "We were, almost. Some of us survived in cryosleep. We've only just awakened." Ilaran's expression was unreadable. "If this is true, then you are carrying dangerous knowledge." Ilara didn't flinch. "That's why we're here. We need help." He led them through a crystal hallway that shimmered with light. The path opened into a large circular room, where a holographic map of the galaxy hovered above a stone table. Stars glowed softly in the air. Ilaran gestured for them to sit. "Tell me what you know," he said. Ilara explained everything. Earth's final moments, the Council's decision, the secret cryosleep, the awakening, the mission. The other humans sat quietly, watching Ilaran's face. He said nothing for a long time. Finally he spoke. "I was a young diplomat when Earth fell. The Council told us your people destroyed themselves. They said Earth had chosen war over peace." "They lied," Ilara said flatly. "I believe you," Ilaran replied. "But many will not. The Council controls all major archives. If you try to speak out without proof, you'll be silenced. Or worse." Jace leaned forward. "Then help us get proof." "There may be a way," Ilaran said. He tapped the star map. A red planet lit up. Zareth 4, a decommissioned research world, abandoned by the Council 2 centuries ago. Rumor says its systems were never fully wiped. You might find records there. Ilara's eyes narrowed. "Are you saying we could find the truth? Something that shows what really happened to Earth?" "It's possible," Ilaran said. "But the planet is unstable. It was used for weapons testing. Drones still patrol the surface. Dangerous but unguarded by the Council." Ilara stood. "That's enough for us." Ilaran stepped closer. "If you go there and survive, and if you find what you're looking for, bring it back here. I will share it with every free world left." "You'd risk Council wrath?" Ryan asked. Ilaran's gaze hardened. "The Council has grown too powerful, too silent. The galaxy is afraid. Maybe your return is what we've been waiting for." They left the chamber with purpose. Back on the ship, the crew gathered for one final briefing before departure. "This is it," Ilara said. "Our first real lead. It's dangerous, but it could change everything." "What if it's a trap?" Talia asked. "Then we're already in it," Ryan replied. "We have no choice but to keep moving forward." Ilara nodded. "We don't stop. We find the truth, no matter the cost. Prepare for departure." As the Vengeance lifted off from Tessara and set a new course through the stars, Ilara stood alone on the bridge. Her reflection in the glass was pale and tired, but determined. The past was no longer buried. Now it was waking up. The Vengeance moved through deep space at full stealth. Its sleek frame slipped between stars, invisible to most scanners. Inside the ship, the mood was tense. The crew knew where they were going. Zareth 4, a dead planet once used by the Galactic Council for secret research and weapon testing. Alara Voss stood on the command deck, reviewing the layout of Zareth 4. Orin displayed a 3D map of the planet's surface, dotted with broken buildings, cracked terrain, and faint energy signatures. There, Alara said, pointing to a large structure near the equator. That facility was used to store research data. If anything was left behind, it'll be there. Lieutenant Ryan leaned closer. Any chance the drones are still active? Yes, Orin answered. Automated security is still running. No organic life signs, but you will encounter resistance. Understood, Alara said. We go in fast, grab what we can, and get out. As the team prepped for landing, the crew moved through the ship like ghosts. Conversations were quiet. Movements were efficient, but something felt off. In the engine bay, Jace ran a systems check. His fingers moved quickly over the control panel, but his eyes kept drifting to one corner of the room. Someone was watching him. A shadow moved and disappeared behind a bulkhead. He stood up. Who's there? No answer. He stepped forward and turned the corner, but the corridor was empty. The shuttle dropped Alara, Ryan, Jace, and 2 other crew members onto the surface of Zareth 4. The air was thin, dry, and filled with dust. Blackened structures rose like skeletons from the cracked earth. Red lightning flashed in the sky, but no thunder followed. The wind carried a mechanical hum, the sound of ancient machines still running. Everyone stay sharp, Alara said. We don't know what we'll find in there. They moved toward the main facility. The doors were rusted but still operational. With a hiss of stale air, the doors opened, revealing a dark corridor lined with blinking lights and thick cables. Inside, silence pressed in on them. This place feels haunted, Ryan muttered. It kind of is, Jace replied. They reached the central archive chamber. Tall data towers stood like pillars, each one humming faintly. Orin guided Alara to the main terminal. This console may still contain research logs, Orin said. Give me access. Alara tapped a sequence of commands. Orin's symbol appeared on the console screen, and data began to scroll. Video logs, encrypted files, and command sequences flickered by. I've found something, Orin said. Footage from the final year before Earth's destruction, council meeting records, high-level conversations. Alara's heart pounded. Download it all, every file. As the data transferred, a sharp beep cut through the room. Movement detected. Orin said, security drones are activating. 4 units closing fast. Here we go, Ryan said, drawing his weapon. The drones came fast, hovering machines with spinning blades and blaster arms. The crew took cover as shots tore through the chamber walls. Alara fired, hitting one in its central eye. Sparks flew as it dropped. Jace was at the back, covering their retreat, when something hit him from behind. He fell hard, dazed. Through blurred vision, he saw someone standing over him. It wasn't a drone, it was one of their own. Why? Jace whispered. The figure raised a blaster. I'm sorry, came the voice. But humans don't belong in this galaxy anymore. A single shot echoed. Then silence. The others fought their way out of the building, dragging the download device. They made it to the shuttle and took off, engines screaming as the drones chased them back to the Vengeance. Inside the ship, the hangar doors closed behind them just in time. Talia, Alara shouted, get to the med bay. Jace is hurt. But when they checked the shuttle, Jace wasn't there. What? Ryan gasped. He was behind me. They searched the ship. No sign of him. Then Orin spoke. Security footage shows Jace was shot from close range. Not by a drone, by a human. The crew stood in stunned silence. Alara stared at the screen. The attacker's face was hidden beneath a helmet, but it was someone aboard the Vengeance. One of them, a traitor, Ryan said quietly. Alara's voice was cold. Someone among us doesn't want the truth to come out. She turned to Orin. Seal all sensitive areas. Increase internal scans. No one goes anywhere alone. As the ship jumped to warp, carrying the stolen data back toward Tessara, the crew no longer felt safe. Outside, the galaxy waited. Inside, someone wanted to stop them from reaching it. The Vengeance dropped out of warp above Virelon Prime. There it was, the heart of the Galactic Council, a massive planet city wrapped in rings of light and spaceports. Thousands of ships moved in strict, endless patterns around it. From orbit it looked calm, efficient, perfect, but Alara Voss saw the truth behind the shine. This was where Earth's fate had been sealed. This was where lies were written into history. On the bridge, the crew stood quietly. Even Orin dimmed its voice. There are 5 orbital stations, each heavily patrolled, Orin reported. I have detected no signs of human presence. Council communications remain unaware of your identity. Good, Alara said. Let's keep it that way. She turned to Ryan, her second in command. Begin infiltration plan. Ryan tapped the console. Disguise systems ready. We'll pose as diplomatic traders from the neutral world of Eltros. Orin will forge the credentials. And the traitor? Asked Dr. Quinn. Her voice was tight. Still nothing? Alara shook her head. They've gone silent since Zareth 4, but we'll be watching everyone. The crew knew the risk. One wrong move, and they'd be exposed, captured, erased just like Earth. But they had no choice. They carried evidence now, recordings from a hidden council meeting, audio and visual logs. The truth, the real reason Earth was destroyed. And they were going to broadcast it from the center of the enemy's world. Hours later, the Vengeance docked in the lower levels of Virelon Prime, disguised as a merchant vessel. The city was towering and vast, built in layered zones. Rich politicians lived high in silver towers. Council enforcers and drones patrolled the mid-levels. At the bottom, hidden in shadow, were the working classes and black market traders. Alara, Ryan, and 2 others left the ship wearing modified armor and fake diplomatic IDs. Orin stayed linked to their comms, feeding real-time data through their visors. Destination? Ryan asked. Alara pointed toward the central column that rose into the sky. The Council Archive Nexus. That's where they control the broadcast systems. If we can get in and upload the file, we'll force every world to see the truth. Long way through enemy ground, Ryan muttered. They moved quickly through crowded streets. The city was alive with species from dozens of worlds. No one paid attention to them, but every shadow felt like it was watching. A sharp ping echoed in Alara's earpiece. Orin, she whispered. Unknown signal detected. Following from 70 meters. Alara didn't turn her head. Can you ID it? Not yet. Suggest caution. She tapped Ryan's arm. He nodded. Without a word, they ducked into a narrow alley between buildings. Their followers entered the alley seconds later. One was a council agent in sleek armor. The other, Alara froze. It was her crew member, the traitor. You, she whispered. The traitor didn't flinch. You should have stayed buried. He pulled a weapon, but Ryan was faster. One clean shot dropped the agent. Alara lunged at the traitor, knocking the weapon from his hands. Why? She asked, pinning him against the wall. The council promised peace, he growled. They showed me what Earth almost destroyed. I believed them. You chose silence, Alara said. And you killed Jace. He looked away. Alara raised her weapon, but stopped. You're not worth it. She stepped back. Orin, lock him down. A drone flew in and sedated him instantly. He'll be sent back to the Vengeance. Secure cell, Orin said. Alara turned to the team. Let's keep moving. The Council Archive Nexus stood like a needle piercing the clouds. Surrounded by guards and scanners, it was the most secure building on the planet. But Orin had found a weakness, an old maintenance tunnel forgotten by the upper ranks. The team crawled through it in silence. At the end was a panel. Ryan pried it open, revealing the archive's data port. "Upload ready," Orin said, initiating transmission to all known networks. A timer appeared, 60 seconds. Elara stared at the screen. A still image of Earth hovered in the air. "People deserve to know what happened," she said quietly. But the peace didn't last. Alarms blared. Doors slammed shut. "Council security has detected the upload," Orin warned. "Defensive measures inbound. Hold them off," Elara said. "Let the truth finish uploading." Council drones stormed the hallway. Ryan and the others held the line, firing back with precision. Sparks flew, walls shook, but the countdown continued. 10 seconds. 5, 1. "Upload complete," Orin announced. Message delivered to all open channels, all over the galaxy, on warships, marketplaces, colonies, and neutral worlds. Screens lit up. The people saw the Council's private meetings. They heard the truth that Earth had been erased not because it was violent, but because it refused to obey. The lie was shattered. Elara and her team slipped back into the tunnel, bruised but alive. As they reached their ship, Orin delivered the final report. Civil unrest spreading. Dozens of Council worlds calling for inquiry. Neutral planets supporting your message. Elara exhaled slowly. "We lit the fuse." Ryan smiled. "Now let's see what burns." The stars looked different now. Not because they had changed, but because the galaxy had. In the hours following the broadcast, the truth about Earth's destruction spread like wildfire. On distant planets, people gathered in silence as the Council's own words played across public screens. Whole cities paused. Soldiers lowered their weapons. Some cried, some raged. All listened. In every language across thousands of worlds, one message repeated: Earth did not destroy itself. The Council did. Inside the Vengeance, Elara Voss stood at the command deck, watching news feeds from across the galaxy. Protests had erupted on major Council-controlled planets. Council buildings were being surrounded. Ships were refusing orders. Even some officials had begun to speak out. "They can't stop it," Ryan said, standing beside her. "It's out now. Everyone knows." Elara nodded, but her jaw was tight. "They won't let this go without a fight." Orin's voice filled the room. "Confirmed. A Council fleet has launched from Varellan Prime. Intercept course. 4 capital ships. 16 escort cruisers." Silence fell over the crew. "They're coming for us," Dr. Quinn said quietly. "Yes," Elara replied. "But they're not just coming to kill us. They want to silence the truth before it spreads further. We can't let that happen." The crew gathered in the war room. A holographic display showed the fleet approaching. "We can't fight them head-on," Jaren, the weapons officer, said. "Too many ships." Elara pointed at the nearby sector. "We won't. We're heading to a trend space. They helped us before. If we can reach them, maybe others will join too." "And if they don't?" Ryan asked. Elara looked him in the eye. "Then we buy time with our lives." The Vengeance shifted course and activated its warp drive. Stars blurred. The ship shot forward into darkness. But it wasn't fast enough. Hours later, the Council fleet caught up. Alarms rang out, multiple warp signatures. Orin announced, "We're surrounded." The crew scrambled. Elara took the command seat. "Activate cloaking. Prepare evasive maneuvers." The ship vanished from view, but the Council had guessed its location. Energy blasts filled the void. The Vengeance twisted through space, dodging beams and missiles. "Incoming," Jaren shouted. A blast hit the rear shields. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Lights flickered. "Shields down to 54%. Orin warned. "Hull integrity holding." Elara gritted her teeth. "Divert all power to engines. Get us into the asteroid field ahead." The ship dove into a chaotic field of spinning rocks. The Council cruisers followed, but cautiously. One wrong move, and they'd be torn apart. The Vengeance wove through the debris like a ghost. The crew held on as the ship skimmed past massive stone slabs. But one of the Council ships launched drones, small, fast, and deadly. "They're closing in," Ryan yelled. "We need to end this." Elara's eyes locked on the navigation map. A narrow gap between 2 giant asteroids. Jaren, load plasma charges, she said. When we pass that gap, detonate behind us. But we'll be right there, he said. We'll make it, she said calmly. The ship surged forward. The drones followed, closing fast. Elara counted the seconds. Now, Jaren triggered the charges. Blue fire erupted behind them. The gap exploded in a wave of rock and energy, slamming into the drones and shaking the pursuing ships. Silence returned. Orin scanned the area. Drones neutralized. Fleet scattered. They cannot track us. Cheers broke out across the ship. Elara didn't smile. Not yet. Status of the transmission, she asked. Orin's voice turned serious. Widespread viewing continues. Multiple council worlds have gone silent. 3 regional governors have declared neutrality. Elara stepped away from the console. She felt the weight of it all. The lives lost, the lies exposed, the fear still chasing them. She looked at her crew. They were tired, bruised but alive. You all did what most people never could, she said. You faced the truth. You stood against power. And because of that, the galaxy is starting to wake up. Ryan stepped forward. What now, Captain? Elara looked out at the stars. We go to the Etren. We ask for peace, not war. And we prepare for what comes next, because the council won't fall overnight. But the first crack is there, and we put it there. In the silence that followed, the crew stood taller, stronger. No longer survivors, no longer fugitives. They were messengers of truth. And the galaxy was listening. The Etren welcomed the vengeance with quiet honor. Their ships, sleek and curved like flying leaves, guided the humans into orbit above Tessara. The once neutral planet was now at the center of a growing movement, one that had begun with a single truth. In just 3 days, everything had changed. On the surface, crowds filled the streets, watching broadcasts of council officials resigning, governors breaking ranks, and former allies demanding reform. Peaceful protests grew across star systems. Small fleets from independent worlds pledged to protect the humans and any others who dared speak out. Inside the Etren Council Hall, Elara Voss stood before a gathering of leaders, alien species with many eyes, many limbs, and many questions. But all were quiet now. All were listening. She told them of Earth's end, the long sleep, the survival, the truth. She didn't speak with anger. She spoke with calm certainty, voice steady and strong. We do not ask for vengeance, she said. Only justice. We do not seek war. Only peace, built on truth. Earth is gone, but its people live. We are not ghosts. We are not the past. We are your future neighbors. When she finished, silence filled the chamber. Then, one by one, the leaders rose and bowed. Tessara officially offered the humans safe haven. Other worlds followed. A treaty was signed. The name Earth was spoken again in public broadcasts. It was no longer a forbidden word. It was a symbol. Back aboard the Vengeance, the crew watched the events unfold on the main screen. Some cheered. Others cried. They had survived more than time. They had survived silence. Dr. Talia Quinn stood by the medbay window. Jace would have loved to see this, she said quietly. Elara nodded. He helped make it possible. In the ship's lower decks, the traitor sat in a secured room, silent and alone. He had made his choice. But now the galaxy was making a different one. Later, Elara stood on the bridge, watching the stars. She could feel something shifting. The fear was still there, but it was no longer in control. People were asking questions. People were waking up. Ryan joined her, arms crossed. We started something big. We did, she said. And we're not done. What's next? Elara smiled slightly. We build, not just ships, not just homes, a new Earth. Out here, among the stars. He raised an eyebrow. You think people will follow? They already are. Orin's voice chimed in softly. Transmission from 12 outer colonies. They request human guidance on forming new governments. Elara turned to the stars. Then we give it, carefully, honestly. The ship drifted quietly above Tessara as the galaxy turned, no longer hidden, no longer forgotten. The humans had returned, not to destroy, not to dominate, but to heal a wound that had stayed open for 3,000 years. The night before departure, Elara recorded one final message. This is Captain Elara Voss, of the vengeance. We come not as conquerors, but as survivors. The council erased our world, but not our will. Let this be the beginning, not of another war, but of a better future, for all of us. The next morning, the vengeance rose once more, engines glowing against the darkness. The galaxy watched, and this time it did not turn away.